Yeah, you can see I've been occupied here, but I don't have my readers, so I'm struggling. Well, I was reading the book on the legend of Safed this last year. I haven't looked at it for a couple months, but it gets into the development of from the medieval times to today and traces all the rabbinic discussion about this passage of what does it mean if you round off what we're looking at least the Leviticus 19:27. And the whole tradition that comes out of the Lurianic Kabbalah is that if you don't keep this commandment the way the rabbis say, that you are reincarnated as a cow.
Right.
And I'm not joking. Okay, that's what they teach. And the reason why is because in Leviticus 19:27, it begins, Lo takifu pe'at roshechem, you shall not, what it says, round off the payas, the paya of your head. Well, the what they call the Rashi Tevot, the first letter of pe'at is a pay. The first letter of roshechem, your head, is reish. So pei reish spells par, which is the word for, well, para is a cow or par is an ox. So that is what they teach. That's the Lurianic thing. And there's all these stories of a rabbi having a dream about someone who is a cow, and it's a person who, it's a Jew who in a former life, it's almost hard to say this without laughing, didn't obey this commandment. And now they need a Jew who's alive, a human Jew, to do some sort of special prayer and what they call tikkun,
right?
Tikkun olam, to restore their soul because they're trapped in this body of a cow, whether it's in the other world or in this world. They're actually a cow, and their soul is trapped because they didn't keep this commandment. And so this particular author who looks at this Kabbalistic folklore shows how in all these sources, it was never about what the actual Torah commanded. It was taken to mean you can't look like a Gentile.
Right.
And one of the reasons was, specifically in the Jewish communities that were in Egypt, in North Africa, at this time, so this is in the Middle Ages up to leading to the time of Safed, which was in the 1500s, is they were amidst people that were also being circumcised. So the Jews were not physically, a Jewish body was not, male body was not physically differentiated from non-Jews just by looking at the sign of the covenant. And the fear was if there was a Jew who was on a journey and died, and someone found the body and they saw that this man had been circumcised, they would not know that this was a Jewish person and therefore needed to be buried in a Jewish cemetery. And so there was a fear that was promoted among these super stringent rabbis that you have to be buried in a Jewish cemetery. And so you can't rely on the fact that you're circumcised to be a differentiator anymore. Therefore, we need other ways. And it had to do with how the beard was kept. Well, this folklorist does a really good job. He shows in Europe, this was different because people had a tradition of shaving. And so there was certain response that was okay. But then you go to Middle Eastern countries where you had Muslims that had different sizes of beards and things. They had to really grow the payas out really long to say, just to tell the world,
I'm Jewish.
Yeah. And it was because, and one of the prods, one of the incentives was that, look, if you die by yourself somewhere and someone finds you, they need to know you're Jewish, and it has to be a visual mark, and it's going to be the payas. And if you don't do it, you're going to be reincarnated as an animal.
Right.
And that's not good. And so all this superstition built up over the last several hundred years concerning this. Now I've seen pictures, like they have, back to the cartoon Jesus, I think it's the James Trim guy, the Nazarene guy. He's got pictures of like cartoon pictures of Jesus with like a kippah and then like really long payas.
Unbelievable.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.